We're going to talk to Debbie in Tunbridge Wells. Debbie, are you from Chosen with Care? Is that a company you represent? What's that? Sorry.
Yes, that's right, John.
What is Chosen with Care?
Well, we help self-funding families primarily find the right care home for them.
Okay.
So sort of a bit like a matchmaking service, if you like. Okay.
And you tell me, you can tell me then, what is it going to cost me?
I think the average cost of a nursing home across the country, the average cost is about £850 a week. Nursing care is more expensive than residential care.
Yeah.
I think one of the things that a lot of people with the clients we speak to, a lot of things that people struggle with, and you mentioned it a few minutes ago, is the thought of trawling around all of the care homes. And, you're going to get quite dispirited quite quickly, I think. I think the key thing to be looking at if you're looking for a care home is to do your research before you get in the car and drive and have a look at care.
And how do you do that? How would you do that, though?
Okay, so first of all, you Google and you look up the care homes online. But you've got to ask yourself 4 key questions before you start even doing your research online. You've really got to ask yourself these things. So the first one is, where should I be looking for the care home? And I know that sounds really obvious, but an awful lot of our clients don't understand the implications of this. So I'll give you a prime example. We had a client who called us last week, and she lived in North Surrey, and her mum was actually in Pembury Hospital.
Yes.
And mum had always lived in Kent, so her daughter assumed she would be looking for a care home in Kent. And when we said to her, well, who else lives in Kent? And she said, well, mum's friends who were all old and were unable to drive, etc. I said, well, why don't you look for a care home? Why don't we look for a care home for you in North Surrey?
Yeah.
At which point, the daughter burst into tears, and it hadn't dawned on her. I think when you're in such a stressful situation, you don't think of the really obvious stuff.
And
so
also, Debbie, it's worth pointing out, I suppose, that the more affluent the area, the more expensive the care home's going to be, because the property will be more expensive, won't it?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, no question. I think care homes reflect the geographical location they're in, and of course that can help you when you're planning. But the second thing you've got to consider when you're looking for a care home is the type of care you need. There's no point trawling around care homes that don't support the care needs that you're looking for. So basically you're looking at either residential or nursing care. The distinction between the two is a nursing home will have registered nurses 24/7.
Okay, and if my loved one's got dementia, would I need nursing care?
No, not necessarily. No.
Okay.
So dementia care is a separate category on top of that. You can get dementia care in residential settings and in nursing settings.
Okay.
But when you're looking for a care home with dementia, it's really important to understand what level of dementia your loved one has.
But it won't stay. It won't stay like that, will it? That's the trouble. No.
You've got to future-proof wherever you're looking. You must future-proof it. So you've got to know what they've got now, or as much as you're able to, and what it is likely to develop into, and make sure that any care home you choose is going to be able to accommodate that going forward.
And the final thing we should be looking at?
Price.
Something
there. If you run out of money within 6 months, which we have had clients that have come to us after that has happened, or 12 months or something, frankly, you're looking at the wrong care home. Try and ensure that your money lasts as long as possible. And as Nadra said earlier on, when you've been in a care home for a couple of years, very often the care home will keep the residents.
Even though the money runs. But I wonder, I'm sure, Debbie, you're just the person to answer my question, which is this. Look, so my loved one's got no assets, okay? So, but I've got a few bob. So do I get the 500 quid from the local authority that I can then add to and find them a care home for, 800 quid?
Yes.
You can. So you can add to that money you get from the local authority.
Absolutely. It's called top-up, and so long as it's not your mum's money, so long as it is your money, then yes, absolutely can. About 9% of people top up in the country, and then you've got 42% of the population are self-funding.
But Debbie, the fact is, if you've got no money, if you've got no assets, if you are, frankly, not very well off, What can I get for 500 quid?
Well, you know what? I think Nadra also mentioned this. Most care homes have local authority funded clients and privately funded clients.
Yes.
And if you know what you're looking for, if when you talk to the care home, you know, for example, that they've got 3 or 4 or 5 empty beds, very often they will accept a local authority client.
Because it's 500 quid's better than nothing. Yeah, I get that. Yeah.
Well, exactly.
Yeah.
And so actually, there's always beds available, and I think you can find the care, and I do appreciate it is more difficult in different regions, and I do appreciate it can be difficult at different times of the year as well. But if you do your research, I think you can find somewhere.
Okay. Debbie, it's good to talk to you. Thank you so much for ringing in. Debbie from Tunbridge Wells, Chosen with Care.